out of thin air. I think it's 7 years since I started writing it. It started as just like a funny idea that I then thought more about and realized there was a reason why I had that funny idea. The idea was like, what if adults played kids and we were trying to say that their dad made them grow up too fast? And it was like just like a bit almost. But then I realized I should dive more into my childhood. And so then I started writing more. But that was like 7 years ago. I think it all, when I decided to write it, it just came out, and the process was really just turning 500 pages into 300 pages. It was a lot came out, and I had to figure out what the actual story was.
It was 500 pages and you got it down.
Yes.
The whole thing was 300
Yes.
pages that we shot. He held the scripts from me for a while. He's very precious with them. So we had a meeting and then he sent the scripts later on.
I sent the first 3 episodes first, right?
No, you just sent the pilot first.
Oh, right.
And then I read the whole 300 pages. I was on an airplane and I read what I could. I got home to my apartment, read more. I had to sleep. I woke up and I finished it, and I felt genuinely very depressed after reading it because it was over. No, because I was really sad that this journey, it's like reading a book. It was like 300 pages. It was the book that I just finished was over, and I was really sad that it was over, and I was so fucking sorry. I was so excited. I was so excited that I was like, if I had to audition for this, I'm positive I wouldn't have gotten it. So the fact that I didn't have to, and it was the best thing I'd ever read, was really great. A good feeling.
We went on a trip together.
We went to Mount Shasta, which I had been to a few times before, and we were both in weird places. And we went with my friend who's a channeler, psychic healer.
Yeah.
And we went with
Healer.
her, and it was like, it was like sibling bonding experience. And so that was a year before we shot.
Yeah.
So we had time to bond and create the chemistry. And you don't create chemistry. Well, I guess you do, but we didn't need to.
We didn't need to.
I just remember getting on a Zoom with Cooper and Lili, and for about 5 minutes we read the scene, and then the rest of the 45 we just talked about being in long-term relationships and losing yourself in a partner and having to deal with a breakup of a long-term relationship and how that changes you as a person. And we had each had different experiences with that, and I left being like, we didn't really talk about the show. I hope I get it. And then
we did.
Yeah, we did. But and so then I was immediately in love with their brains and excited to figure out what the actual thing was.
Yeah, I mean, it came across to me how most projects do, just like an audition. And what stood out to me was that it's very different from anything I've ever done, which is what I chase. I'm just trying to always do something new, something challenging. And I mean, I don't know how it is on Coop's side, but I was practicing for weeks with my best friend, and for some reason it didn't click for me. And I don't know if it was just because of my homie or where I was or what it is, but when I got into the audition the first time we read it, Coop just got up and he hugged me. Right after we read it for the first time. And for me too, it was okay, it makes sense.
We read together, and it was like an audition, and they're like, don't say that the person has the role in the audition. But my hug was like, you got the part.
Yeah.
I love you. We're friends.
And that's what I told my manager too. He was like, how'd it go? I'm like,
he hugged me? Yeah, he hugged me. So I think that was good.
Gotta mean something.
It's my favorite script of all time, and I've probably read it 100 times at least, if that's how it feels. Probably true. But it's really the whole show and these characters is you go on a roller coaster with them, but it just really felt so unique in that it was going to be so healing and beautiful for anyone that got to be a part of it and also gets to see it. And that was always has been the most special part of the show for me.
I remember reading the script, and I sat and read. When I read it, I read everything all the way through to the end, and I stayed in bed the rest of the day. And I actually could cry right now thinking about that moment and how much I felt like it just floored me and hurt me. And also, I felt so deeply attached to all of these characters and their process in the world. And I think it made me have a greater even sense of compassion for my own process in the world and process of individuation, love, grief, loss, figuring it out. And I think that's what Cooper in general actually encapsulates so well in his work, is like that process of becoming, and becoming is the whole thing. You don't have to get to a destination, and that it just gripped me, and I hope it grips other people that same way. And also maybe not, though, because you will be dead and and still.
It was always a TV show. I wanted it to be a movie because I know how that works, and I know how an independent movie gets in front of an audience, and like TV, it is very new, and so I think people around me all the time were saying, "Can it just be a movie?" But it just never was. It was always about so many different characters, and it was always just a TV show, and it was very, very hard because we didn't have the money that a TV show is supposed to have, and the hardest part was like shooting a scene from the pilot and then shooting a scene from the finale back to back. Like that's it. The runtime I think is 4 hours and 35 minutes, and it's a lot of material that you're trying to shoot in a wise way because you don't have money. So it was very challenging. Yeah, I think it's more just I knew no one would. I couldn't set it up somewhere and make it this way, and so it wasn't about ownership. Like I feel like I want everyone to feel like they own it, but it was about making the show the right way, and I didn't know if it was going to be developed in the right way if it wasn't made independently. I don't know the history of like when independent movies started selling. I don't really know what it's going to be like. I would love for more TV shows to be made independently because I think why not? But I think it's really going to be hard to like brave that storm. Like movies, I've had a movie at Sundance that sold, but it was like on the backs of so many movies. So to think about selling the TV show and being one of the first of its kind it's scary. But I hope that more people do it. I hope, yeah.
Do you have more seasons mapped out?
Sure. Yes.
You approach this as an ongoing thing.
Yes.
I guess I wanted to ask you about the status of the Trashers.
I want it to happen, but I don't think it's. I love that script so much, and I love. I want to direct it so bad, but it's hard to make a movie and hard to get to the support that movie's a big movie and needs a big budget, and we didn't get the money. Yeah, it's not happening. Yeah, I don't know what I'll do next. Yeah, it won't be an end of. Well, I don't know to answer your question. I don't know.
I feel like I already said it in a way, but I do think that the script and this whole world that Cooper has built, to me, brought a lot of compassion to my own process as a person and my relationships and my understanding of other people and the messy beauty of life. And I hope that people walk away with that same increased level of empathy for themselves and others.
Yeah, I don't know if you could say it much better than that. I feel like
I hope that people get like the same sense of healing that the family does. Like I hope that they, it's a very, the family heals in a lot of ways throughout the season.
I have chills
And-
right now.
But yeah.
I do feel what I loved about Harper so much as well is that she's so flawed, and the industry does not let you make movies or TV shows about women who are either doing bad things or have a bad habit or aren't like fundamentally fully together. And I think people will appreciate seeing a woman, and a lot of people and like the cast who's the characters, I mean, that are a work in progress. And I think to have the opportunity to play a woman who isn't fully know what she's doing is like you can watch that type of show and think, damn, I can relate to that position that she's in. And I appreciate that.